Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a very long-awaited but really exciting video. We are talking about the Tarte Tartelette palettes, comparing, contrasting them, showing you swatches and all of that. This is probably one of my most highly requested videos that I was supposed to do 3 weeks ago and I've yet to do just because it hasn't worked out. So without further ado, let's hop into the video. By the way, if you want to get this look, I'll leave a link of it up above. This is my Valentine's Day look, but that is not what this video is about. This is about the, this is about the two Tartelette palettes. This is the original and this is the newer version. This is the Tartelette In Bloom. First things first, these are both $45. You can get them at Ulta and at Sephora. You're probably thinking $45 for an eyeshadow palette? That is so extreme. I don't know if I can afford that. Well, let me break it down to you. So each eyeshadow palette comes with 12 eyeshadows. 45 divided by 12, that is equivalent to $3.75 per eyeshadow. $3.75. That's cheaper than a ColourPop eyeshadow. Think about it, you're saving money by getting an actual palette. Main difference between the two of these is that the Tartelette palette is a cool toned matte palette, whereas the Tartelette In Bloom palette is a warm tone and it has various formulations as far as it being shimmery, mattes, frosty shades, all of that goodness. Are they pigmented? Yes, they are extremely pigmented. Now I will say there are some shadows that you do have to build up. I feel like the lighter you go, the more that you have to build up. The darker you go, the easier it is, and they get really buttery and creamy. Now I will say there are some shades that are difficult. I love these palettes, but as I have been using them more and more frequently, I do notice that with some of the shadows, they do tend to bunch in your crease and you just really have to blend them out. The Tarte original palette is completely matte shadows. If you are a big fan of purples, you're gonna love this, whereas the Tartelette In Bloom palette, as you can see, it's very warm. And the one thing that I love about this compared to the original Tartelette palette is that you do have some shimmery, frosty shades, whereas this one is just all matte. So if you do want a bit of shimmer, you're gonna have to go into a different palette when using the Tartelette palette. The longevity of these eyeshadows, they last all day long. They are super creamy, super buttery, super pigmented. Like I said, some of them can tend to look a little muddy if you don't blend out thoroughly, but they stay on all day. You don't have to worry about having to reapply, as these are gonna last all day long. The one thing I do love about this too is the sleek packaging. I mean, how cute is the packaging? I love the ombre purple background and then with the gold. It's just so classic. It's so beautiful. And then I love this one. They kind of look like painter's palettes, which, I mean, that's kind of what you're doing to your eyes. You're painting your eyes. This is your canvas, and so it's artwork, and I love it. And I love that this one has the floral background as it is in Bloom, and it's wonderful. The other thing I love about this are the names. You've got Charmer and Firecracker and Leader, and they're just so empowering, which I really enjoy. And then Tartelette, you know, you've got Supermom and Best Friend and Bombshell and Fashionista. There's just so many powerful, empowering names that are given to these shadows. So when you're putting on your eye, yes, I'm a Supermom, or ooh, I'm a diva, or I don't know, I just find them really fun. But like I said, the packaging is really sleek. It is very heavy, but I kind of like the weight to it. I don't know, I really like it. It is plastic, which is nice. Oh, and the back, as you can see, it has a mirrored effect on the back, so that's really pretty as well. Each of them come with a mirror. My mirrors are all messy, but they each come with a mirror, and then they have the name on the mirror as well. So this one says Tartelette In Bloom, whereas the original Tarte palette just says Tartelette right there. Do I think they are worth your money? I really do. If I had to pick between the two, I would go with the Tartelette In Bloom palette, just because this is going to be the most versatile palette. I think if you're not a fan of cool tones, you're not going to really like this palette. If you're not a fan of purple shades, you're definitely not going to like this palette. I love this palette. This is one of my favorite go-to palettes. Whereas this one I use here and there. I think it's perfect for the spring, but I don't see myself grabbing this very often. So if I had to pick between the two, I would definitely go with the Tartelette In Bloom palette. But then again, I do prefer warm tone shadows compared to cool tones. So if you prefer cool tone, this might be right up your alley. I also like shimmer. I love shimmery and matte shades, so I do love that about this. If you guys have any questions that I didn't answer, let me know in the comments and I will gladly answer those for you. Okay, y'all, I'm being real ghetto right now. I thought I would cover up the mirror. So we're gonna go into the original palette. The one thing that I love about these palettes, if you're a newbie when it comes to makeup, or if you're in a pinch and you're like, I don't know what goes well, they have rows of eye looks that work for you. So you're gonna have your inner corner, your brow bone shade, this is gonna be your lid shade, this could be your crease shade, and this could be the outer V, and so on and so forth. We're gonna start off with the top row. The first top row is gonna be your neutral eye look. And so you have a cream, which is Free Spirit. You have Force of Nature, which is a nude shadow, Dreamer, which is a warm brown, Multitasker, which is a chocolate brown. And so I have it swatched right here. This one is Free Spirit. As you can see, it is definitely a cream shadow. It blends into my skin, and I really had to pack that one on because it doesn't show as strong as I would like it to, probably because of my skin tone, but it is a very buttery shadow. Force of Nature is going to be your nude shadow, and it is a beautiful, beautiful nude shade. Sweep that into your crease or all over the lid, and you are set to go for a neutral eye. Then you have Dreamer, and Dreamer is your warm brown shadow, and then you have your chocolate brown shade, which is Multitasker, and that is a beautiful eyeshadow as well. Like I said, they're super, super creamy. They do have a little bit of fallout, but not too much. Oh, and did I mention that the palettes smell like vanilla? Oh, you've got the Too Faced that smell like chocolate, and you've got the Tartelettes that smell like vanilla. Moving on to the next row, this one is gonna be your purple eyeshadow. This is gonna really bring out basically any eye color. So the first one is called Caregiver. Caregiver is a pale pink, and that is exactly what it is. It is like a bubblegum pale pink. This is by far my favorite shadow in the palette. This is called Natural Beauty, and Natural Beauty is a mauve. But as I look at the swatch, it kind of has like this like purplish pink undertone. It's just so, so gorgeous. Best Friend is a mulberry eyeshadow. And then you have Bombshell. And Bombshell is a dark plum shade. These two right here are by far my favorite shadows in the palette. They are just gorgeous. This one is Caregiver, and it's that beautiful pale pink. The mauve shade is Natural Beauty. As you can see, it's just so beautiful. And then you have Best Friend. That's the mulberry shade right there. I feel like this is going to be a dupe for MAC's Blackberry eyeshadow. And then this one is Bombshell, and Bombshell is that gorgeous deep plum shadow. I love that this one in certain lighting looks black, but then when you get it right in the sunlight, it does look purple. Those are beautiful, beautiful shadows. And I do love that this is very neutral and natural, so you do have a pop of color, as you can see, but you can really kind of tone it down so that it can be a more natural, everyday makeup look. I think they really designed this for the working gal. We're gonna go into the final row of the palette. This is the Smoky Eyeshadow look. As you see, you've got a gray in there, you've got your black, you've got your neutral brown, kind of to transition it, so if you do want to do a smoky eye, you can blend this out in the crease, and it's just beautiful. And then you have your beige toned eyeshadow. So we're gonna go through all of these shades. So this is Super Mom. Super Mom is this gorgeous ivory shadow. This is by far the most pigmented shadow out of these three lighter shades. I love this shade, and I love the name of this. Super Mom is such a cute name. Then we have Wanderer. Wanderer is your light brown shade. It is exactly that. It's that beautiful light brown transition shade. Then you have Power Player. Power Player is your taupe eyeshadow. And then last but not least, you have Fashionista, which is your true deep matte black. So here are the swatches right here. Super Mom is by far the most pigmented light shade in the bunch. And then you have Wanderer, which is that beautiful transition shade. Then you have Power Player, which is your beautiful taupe eyeshadow. And then you have Fashionista, which is super, super buttery and pigmented. I'll show you. I dipped it in once. Look how pigmented that is. That is so intense. This palette is gorgeous, and as I'm swatching it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I loved these so much. They are just beautiful, beautiful eyeshadow. So next, we're gonna move on to swatches of the Tartelette In Bloom palette. Okay, so I apologize if the lighting is a little different. I just went through this huge episode where my card was full, and then my camera decided, we're gonna lose battery too. So we're gonna actually go into the first row. I don't know where I left off, the difference between this palette and the other palette. If you notice, there are three different shadows that have a little bit of shimmer. This first row right here, these are gonna be all of your neutral eyeshadows. It's gonna make your smoky eyeshadow look. The only thing that I don't like about this palette, I wish that they just changed that out into a black, like a true black. So this shade is Charmer, and this shade is gorgeous, buttery. Like I said, the formulation of this one is so much better than the original Tartelette palette. This one is is your off-white shadow. The next one is Jet Setter, and Jet Setter is your warm taupe shadow, perfect for the crease. Next one is Rocker, and Rocker is a shimmery taupe shade. And then the final one is Smoke Show. Smoke Show is a black brown. So here are the shades right here. So like I said, this one is Charmer. It's your, oh, that one's Charmer. It's your off-white, and it is gorgeous. This next one is Jet Setter, which is your warm taupe. Then you have Rocker, which is your shimmery taupe, and it is definitely shimmery. It is gorgeous all over the lid. Oh my goodness, that is a beautiful shade. And then we have Smoke Show, which is your black brown. All right, so row number 2 is probably one of my favorite rows. Actually, I should say all of them are favorite, but this is gonna be your bronze row. Firecracker is my favorite shadow out of the entire palette. This is so gorgeous, as you'll see in the swatch. By the way, I should mention, when I swatch these shadows, I'm not using any eyeshadow base on my hand. So that's how pigmented they are. They don't need a base to produce the pigment, which is fantastic. This one is Flower Child, and Flower Child is a peach nude. The next one is Smarty Pants. Smarty Pants is the tan shadow in the palette. And then we have this gorgeous, oh my gosh, let me just show you, like, yes! Firecracker is exactly what it is. It's this bronze copper shade, and it is stunning. And then you have Activist. Activist is your dark brown shadow. See, since we have a dark brown black, I wish they would just switch that out to a black since you do have the brown. Aren't those beautiful? I am just obsessed. So, like I said, this one is Flower Child, which is gonna be your peachy nude. Then you have Smarty Pants, which is that beautiful tan shade, perfect for the transition, or if you want to put it all over the lid. Firecracker, see that sheen? Oh, it is stunning. It's that bronze copper. And then you have Activist, which is the dark brown. I will say the mattes get very chalky and you really have to blend them out, but I do love these shadows. And now on to the last row. We're gonna start off with Funny Girl. And Funny Girl is the shimmery shadow, and it's more of like a champagne. And then we go into Sweetheart. Sweetheart is a peach shade. You have Rebel, which this is gorgeous. Rebel is a chestnut brown. And then for the last shade is Leader. Leader is an aubergine shade. So this is the shade Funny Girl. Then we have Sweetheart, and then we have Rebel. Aren't those beautiful shadows? I definitely wish that they had a black. But yeah, that is it for this video. Like I said, overall, I do love both of these palettes, but if I had to pick between the two, I would definitely go with the Tartelette In Bloom palette. Let me know in the comments, which one would you prefer, or if you have both, or if you have one or the other, let me know which one you love. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and until next time, I hope you all have an amazing week, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.